Salutations, my friends, and welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas series. We are not going to be painting today. We are going to be talking about my top 5 favorite DIY gift ideas for crafters, painters, and anybody who is cheap. I just thought it would be fun to do something special for this 12 days of Christmas, and you know, I don't really want to paint every single day. Less talk. And don't forget to follow me on my social media at Love Pray Paint, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Love Pray Paint. I'm Oprah today. Okay, we're filming with my Christmas tree. Thought that would be so fun, so spectacular, so amazing. I'm so dramatic today. So we will be going through my top 5 favorite DIY Christmas presents. My number 1 favorite, well, not number 1, we're just counting. This isn't like I like one better than the other. These are just in no particular order. First, we have a painted Christmas mug. So this fun little DIY, the credits goes to Glued to My Crafts. So what it is just a little coffee mug, and it's a little monogrammed. It's a little monogrammed coffee mug with like little dots on it. It almost looks like glitter or confetti around the outside of the letter. I'll show a picture somewhere. What you will need for this project are what she has listed is a oil-based Sharpie paint pen, and I'm not really not that I don't think that will work, but what I do think will work better is just those acrylic paint markers. You can pick them up anywhere, and they're much cheaper than the Sharpie brand. The Sharpie brand is probably from $8 to $10, and acrylic paint markers, you know, just like a junky ones from like Target or from Walmart or wherever, they're around like $4. Obviously, you are going to need a coffee mug, just a plain white coffee mug. If you already have one, great. I don't know if I would give that to somebody else though. So what you can do is go down to your local Dollar Tree. They sell single mugs for $1, which is obviously a great deal. Then she says to have a scrapbook sticker letter, which I think is a great idea, because if you use a stencil, you're gonna have to try to somehow tape that onto the mug, and things could get pretty messy if you try to do it that way. If you don't have them and you can't afford to buy those big letter stickers, just, you know, print a stencil off online and just tape it. Just use like double stick tape, or you know what I mean, tape it down really good. So maybe that will work too. I don't think it would work as well, but you could do that. Obviously, you're going to need an oven to cure it or bake it so it lasts forever. She recommends having rubbing alcohol and Q-tips. I mean, you don't have to have that if you're super messy. Maybe you would need that, but if you're really not super messy or anything, you don't really need those. So these are the directions. You take the mug and you put the sticker, place it where you want it, and then you take your little, put it down really firm, she says, so there's not like bumps, and so it's nice and smooth. And then you're gonna take either your acrylic paint markers or your Sharpie oil-based paint markers, and you're gonna make a bunch of different color dots in whatever color you like. I think gold and like black would be beautiful. I think she used gold and red. That would be really pretty. Well, it is really beautiful. I mean, out of all the things I looked at, I thought that is so cute. Like, I would love to get like an my name is Maria. My name isn't Love, if you're wondering. But you can call me Love. Or an L for Love Pray Paint, and have the little, you just take the marker and go around where the letter is. You'll see on the picture, it's sort of like just dispersed around where the letter would be. And then you wait till that dries, make sure it's dry before you take that sticker or stencil off, otherwise you'll smudge it. So you'll take that off, and then you'll have this beautiful design. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna set your oven to 350 degrees, and you're going to place the mug in the oven. She says to bake it for around 30 minutes, and I think that's probably pretty accurate. I've made like plates and stuff with my kids before doing the same method, not the same project, but I've done a project pretty similar to that before with a plate, and that's pretty accurate. So you'll just leave it in there 30 minutes, and then when it's done, what you're gonna do is turn your oven off. And I don't think you should try to take that out of the oven while it's hot. She even mentions this. What you're gonna wanna do is turn your oven off, open the door so the heat can get out faster, so you don't overheat the mug, because if you overheat the mug, it can explode. Believe it or not, that can happen. So I would just wait till it's completely cool. She said she waited 2 hours. I think that's probably a good idea. Wait as long as you can to kind of take that out. And then the next one was kind of my own idea, and I didn't realize people actually made these until I painted. I had this idea for a painting for a snow globe inside of a mason jar. And then when I was painting the painting, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be a really cute like craft idea. People should make these. Well, guess what? People do make them. I don't know why I didn't think nobody had ever thought of that. Like, what the heck? Anyway, so I Googled it, and I found a whole bunch of, you know, tutorials all over the place. But this one is super simple. You really don't need direction. So what you need is obviously a mason jar. And then you can go to like the Dollar Tree or to Michael's and get little Christmas figurines. And you're gonna need some waterproof super glue. It doesn't necessarily have to be waterproof, but if you want this to last, get waterproof. And you're either gonna glue them to the lid, the little figurines inside the lid, or you can, you know, this is harder to do it this way. If you glue them inside on the bottom of the mason jar, that's gonna be a lot harder. Okay, and then what else you're gonna need is glitter, obviously water, and optional glycerin, and then maybe like some fake snow, you know, like that little fake snow they sell at like Michael's, those little flakes. You can just buy that. I've never seen it anywhere else besides Hobby Lobby or like a craft store. Just go to a craft store and look for that little snow stuff. Or, I mean, if you can't find it, just put glitter in there. You don't really need snow because the glitter can look like the snow. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna fill the mason jar with the water, and you're gonna wanna make sure that that super glue is completely dry, because obviously they're just gonna fall off if it's not dry. And you're gonna put your glitter in there, and if you're gonna use a glycerin, mix the glycerin into the water. I'm not really sure about the ratio, but I know the reason I'm saying to put the glycerin in there, because over time it can prevent the water from like evaporating. So you're gonna put all of those things in the mason jar, take the lid with the little figurines glued on, put it back on, screw the top as tight as you possibly can. And if you wanna seal it, just put like some hot glue, or if you have some kind of like clear caulking around the outside of it, just in case you're worried about the water leaking out, which, yeah, it could do that. Or if you make it the other way, you don't have to do that. And then you have your little snow globe, mason jar snow globe. I think I'm gonna make those, and they're gonna be so cute. And maybe I can do the tutorial on this channel. Okay, and then next is just painted ornaments, just any type of design. What you're gonna need is like a bulb ornament, or I mean, it could really be any kind of ornament, but I'm really kind of like concentrating on a bulb. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna have like your acrylic paints or your craft paints, and you're just gonna pick a design, you know, go on Pixabay or Pixel or wherever you wanna get your design. It doesn't have to be those. I mean, you can really just get any image, because if you're not selling it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be for use. And you paint the scene right onto the bulb itself. And I mean, how beautiful would that be to get a hand-painted ornament? And if you're not necessarily like a great artist, if you don't have many painting skills, which by the way, anybody can paint. But it is hard to paint in small areas, which I found out yesterday with my fail video. You will be seeing that if you're watching my 12 Days of Christmas. Okay, so then my next kind of ornament we're going to be talking about is a glitter ornament. And I just included this with the painted ornaments, even though it's not really painted. But I've seen a lot of tutorials where people get those clear bulbs and they put the glitter on the inside of the thing. That is really hard to do. If you want to save yourself some time and some, save yourself from having some anger issues and frustration, just take a bulb. It doesn't, you could even use an old bulb of your own and take some Mod Podge, put it on the outside of the bulb, and you can just take a spoon and spoon the glitter whatever color you want over the the Christmas bulb, put a little bow on it, and that can be your gift. I would include that like with something else just because it's like, thanks for the glittery bulb, but it's fun for kids to do anyway. And also you can do like those dip ones. This is where I think this can get really cool. You can dip the ornament, like the bottom of it, like just put the Mod Podge on the bottom of it and dip the bottom of it in like gold, and then do like a monogram with a stencil. That would be so beautiful with paint, and just monogram the person's or paint a little design on it. That would be so beautiful. My next DIY, this is under the same category for bulbs, is to do, have you ever seen those flow paintings or the marble paintings? To take the bulb and do that marbling on the bulb. So what you're gonna need is, you can use that Floetrol if you want the cells on it, but if you're trying to make the marble effect, don't use the Floetrol. Just take either some craft paint or just regular acrylic paint and some water and thin it out till, it's relatively thin. Maybe like 50-50 water, but if you're using craft paint, use less water. Do 25% water and 75% craft paint. I'm not really sure the ratio because it just depends. So I don't want to tell you a recipe for it and then have it not work out. Just maybe go online and figure it out and just Google it, or just do trial and error. That usually works the best, because depending on the brand of the paint, and there's all sorts of factors that go into that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix your little mixture, and you're gonna take your bulb, and you can use like a little Dixie cup to hold it if you want, and you put the bulb inside the Dixie cup, and make sure you have something to catch the paint under it, like a pan or a bowl or something. And you're just gonna pour, take a little cup, or you could use like a squirt bottle or something, and just pour the paint on top of the bulb. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna let that dry, and then you're gonna flip it over and tape where the top of the ornament is, tape that off or pull it out. If you pull it out, you're gonna get paint inside of the bulb. So I think taping it is probably better. And then you're gonna do the same thing over again, and you're gonna wait till it dries. Or if you don't wanna use the cup and you just wanna hold it by the tip, I think this is probably the easiest way to do it. Take like a pan, and then take your cup of paint and put, dump it on the bulb and just move it around, and it kind of makes it look like this beautiful marbling effect. I am going to be doing a tutorial on that because we're going to be doing hand painted bulbs with my kids, and we're also going to be doing hand painted cards as well. That's also a great gift, so that's kind of included in this. We're going to be doing 2 separate videos for those. We'll do the cards and then we'll do the bulbs, because that's what we're going to be giving our family, because we're not doing gifts this year. But I still want to give something just so I don't feel like a Grinch. The kids are getting gifts, but I don't know. It's just, you always end up getting something that you're like, oh, thanks. And, it creates animosity sometimes if it's not the right price point, or I just don't like doing it anymore. The older we get, the more I'm just like, either we'll do gift cards or we'll just make something handmade. So that's what me and my family are doing. And now for my next favorite DIY Christmas gift, we have the 10 minute photo ornament. And this I found on a blog. Okay, and I found this on Pinterest. That led me to a blog, and on the blog it was called Simple As That, I believe. I will have that linked below. And so what you're gonna need for this DIY Christmas gift, the photo ornament, you're going to need some matte Mod Podge. I don't think you have to have matte. If you want it shiny, you can just use the regular Mod Podge. You're going to need a wooden disc. You can pick this up at Michael's, or they have them at Target, I've seen. You're going to need scissors or an X-Acto knife. You're going to need a photo. You're going to want a 4x6 print of one, and she recommends to use a photo editing program, PicMonkey. I personally like Canva. She says to have twine and a hole punch. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. So what you're going to do for this DIY Christmas gift is you are going to start by editing your photo in either PicMonkey or Canva or wherever your heart desires. You're going to want to use, in her example, she had a black and white photo. I thought it looked beautiful, so I would choose to use black and white. And then she says to crop it into a circle. You can use a circle frame or crop it into a circle, however the program allows you to do that. And then you're going to print it out at wherever you print your pictures, at home or at a place. And you are going to have that a 4x6 photo printout. And you can also, in the editing program, she has like the name or the date or whatever it is like on the photo. I thought that was such a cute little touch, so you would do that in the editing program. So then if you want to go even further, you can get matte prints. A lot of places offer that, or just get your regular glossies. What you're going to do is you're gonna take your photo and you're gonna use either your X-Acto knife or your scissors. And I would actually not just cut out the circle if it's not the exact same size as the disc. You want it a little bit smaller. You can use some sort of a stencil to get it that size, or use the disc itself, but since you want it smaller, you want something a little bit smaller. So if you edit it to be just when you're editing it, edit to be just a little bit smaller than the disc, if that makes any sense. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the disc. She distressed hers, she painted it and then distressed it, and it kind of looks like birchwood. You can get that same effect by just using some black and white paint, and I have a tutorial on how to make birchwood trees. And what I do in the tutorial, you can do it on the little wooden disc and it will give you the same effect. It looks like she used a Sharpie or something. I don't remember reading that in her tutorial, but in the picture it shows a Sharpie, so I think she must have used that. So then once that dries, that's going to take longer than 10 minutes, just to let you know. She calls it a 10-minute tutorial, but it's not going to take 10 minutes. It's going to take longer. So what you're going to do is you're going to put Mod Podge on the wooden disc and then put Mod Podge on the photo. And you're going to carefully put the photo onto the disc. That can be a lot trickier than you think it is. Start on one side and kind of lay it down towards the other side. And then she didn't mention this in her blog, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to take a credit card and smooth out any air bubbles that may have gotten in there. I've made like coasters and stuff, and that always happens. And the best thing to do is take a squeegee or an old credit card and smooth it out. You're going to want to let that dry completely before you're going to take another, like a very light layer. When I say a light layer of Mod Podge on the top, you want a very light layer. Don't go heavy-handed on that, because what happens is it can actually cause the photo to bleed, and then you're going to have a big black splashy mess, because I did that and that happened to me. It sucked and it ruined the whole like thing, and I was so sad over it. Anyway, so and she does mention to go in one direction with your strokes when you're putting the Mod Podge on. Don't try to use brushes on this. You have to use the foam, because if you use a brush, it will leave those brush marks in the Mod Podge. You'll let that dry. She says to take a hole punch and punch a hole in the wooden disc. And she says to wait, like to do it before you put the photo on. Honestly, I think it'd be easier to put the photo on and then do the hole punch, because then you don't have to take the marker. Oh, that's what she used the marker for. to draw where the hole, like to dot where the hole is. I think it'd be smarter to just do it after, even though you risk, if you let it dry completely, it's not gonna mess up the photo. Or you can just take your twine and glue it to the disc. That would be the safest thing to do. It's not gonna look as pretty, but it's gonna be much easier than trying to hole punch a piece of wood. It's gonna be really hard. So that's how you do that project. I thought it was so cute. What a fun idea she had. I just thought it was beautiful. It was one of my favorites that I saw. I looked through a whole bunch of these to find the ones that I put on my top 5. So she made it. And then my final one is called Christmas Tea Tree. And I found this on Pinterest, but it brought me to a blog or some kind of a website that's called The Thirsty Tea. And on that blog, what you're gonna need are obviously single wrap tea bags. You're gonna wanna find one of those cylinder cones, like a cone. And you can buy those, I believe you can get those at the Dollar Tree. And then also, she recommends to have a paper mache box. I say just use a toilet paper roll. And rice optional, so it would be stable, and obviously like some hot glue. So how you're gonna make this project is, she doesn't say to do it this way. What I would do is glue the bottom on to the cone first, because if you try to do that when all those tea bags are on there, you risk them falling off. So glue either the paper mache box with the rice in it to the bottom first, or the toilet paper holder that you're gonna cut down to make it shorter. Just cut it like a quarter of the paper, you know, of the toilet paper roll, and glue that to the bottom first with your hot glue. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take all your single little tea bags, and she says to put the glue just along the top of the tea bag, which I agree with, because if the person you're giving this to wants to actually drink the tea, you don't want to put the hot glue all over the thing and then you're not going to be able to take it off. So you're going to start at the bottom, and you're going to glue the tea bags all the way around, and you're going to overlap them. So have like one and then the other, and you're going to overlap them. And you can use whatever color you want or the person's favorite tea. I think it would be really lovely if you just used all green and kept it like monochromatic. Oh yes, and I forgot, you're also going to need a star for the top. You can make one, or you can just buy one of those wooden stars at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, wherever. And so you're going to start at the bottom, and you're going to overlap them, and then you're going to go to the next row, and you're going to overlap them, but you don't want to like have the tea bag here and then have the tea bag up here. You want those overlapping as well, the different layers. And you're going to do that all the way to the top. And then the last step would be to glue the star on the top of the tree. So that is all of my top 5 DIY Christmas gifts or crafts, whatever you want to call it. So don't forget to give this video a like. I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing more video, like just talk through videos as well, and not just all painting tutorials. I think it's really fun to sometimes take a break from painting. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and if you're watching my 12 days of Christmas, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, happy holidays, guys. Bye. Oh yes, and somebody commented on one of my videos, they said season salutations, so I'm stealing that. Season salutations. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with me. Don't mess that up. Salutations, my friends. Today we are going to be, what are we doing today? Well, why am I talking so much? Good Lord. Ugh, cut and retake. I'm dancing and singing, and look at where I am next to my Christmas tree. Isn't that fun? Hello, friends. Do you like to be closer? Really, really close? Blah, blah, blah.